Alright, I've had my tea, it's time for a video. Happy Friday, and today we are doing another Get Ready With Me and spoiler talk. Today I decided we were going to talk about the 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, because I cannot get over the fact that a book with such a great premise had such a lousy plot. I just can't even understand it. So we're going to talk about it today while I get ready. Like, none of it really meshed well together. So, first of all, our main character is barely a main character. We know nothing about them. I'm gonna take my rings off. We know nothing about them. We barely get their name, I think, about halfway through the book. Because he's body jumping. So he's getting the personalities of everybody he's jumping into. So we don't even know what his actual personality is. So it's really hard to just drop us in the middle of the story like that and then expect us to be on board. I mean, it was enough. The premise was enough to get me through the entire book. The premise of this woman is dying every day and you have to figure out who killed her, and you're getting a bunch of different perspectives, and that's really, really cool. But then he adds a bunch of more stuff that just bogs it down. So the main character is not very memorable, and I guess that could work in a good way and in a bad way. It makes the reader feel like they're the ones who are body jumping. However, it was very clear that the guy who was body jumping was a guy. So it's not that open-ended. So it just really started to, it started to really hurt the main character and me really caring about him, because we're told throughout the book as well that the people at Blackheath are mean, they're cruel, they're not nice or decent people. So I don't know why I care. I just don't. We get up into the point, I think it's like day 3 or something. Oh yeah, because it's not enough that this guy is just body jumping to figure out this woman's murder. I thought maybe he was going to be like a detective, it was going to be something like Minority Report. No, it's not like that. It's more like The Platform on Netflix, where it's just a prison. It's just a prison, and so the other people that are there with our main character are bad guys. Blackheath and I guess a bunch of other places are jails, and that just blows my mind. Like, we are told in the middle of this super bogged down murder investigation that in actuality the real world is some sort of dystopia where criminals are forced to live in this timeline, like a timeline, and they have to solve someone's murder. That is much more interesting than what actually happened. What actually happened was a guy who wasn't sure if he wanted to leave, wasn't sure if he wanted to save Evelyn, doesn't know anything, and there's so much description that just gets there is probably one fat man in this whole book. But we spent about 20 pages describing his fatness. Every time he came up, we were describing it. And honestly, why? Why? One of my biggest pet peeves in mysteries is when you are given less information than the detective is. I like to try and figure out the mystery as well. I don't want it to be where the author is specifically hiding points of information from me just so they can make the mystery and the reveal at the end much bigger. I hate that. It ruins everything for me. It throws the pacing, and especially when the main character is like, I know what this means. Let's move on. Like, no. You wanted to describe every bubble in the bath, so you're gonna describe what's happening now. Don't... It's like he forced a reveal. And honestly, the way he created the reveal, like the big reveal, it was lackluster at best. At best. So I've used all of the normal stuff that I've used today, all of the products, like the BB cream and everything else that you've seen before. What you haven't seen before, what did I buy? I bought a Maybelline stick eyeliner because I just couldn't handle the liquid eyeliner. So we're gonna do that because I can actually practice with this. So not only is Blackheath a prison and there's like this dystopian world outside, there's also like the prison guards, right? The timeline keepers. And they are in plague doctor's masks, okay? Dressed up like a plague doctor with the beak nose and then the leather jacket. Now, not only are they the timeline keeper of our own timeline, there is also just random plague doctor costumes just around for no reason. It's not explained. It's not Halloween. I don't know. Like, it really made no sense. There was that part, and then they introduced another timeline keeper. For whatever reason, the new plague doctor, they called her Silvertear. For whatever reason, Silvertear really cared whether or not our plague doctor was going to get in trouble. Like, but why? We don't know them. It wasn't described in there. They weren't together. Nothing. But why? And then she was there just to help the other bad guys, basically. To help the other villains and not our main character. It was so much of like, what are you talking about? And then, like, the reveal that Anna is actually a villain and our main character went into Blackheath to torture her? Really? That's what this is about? Like, this is a fake revenge story, is what... I'm not a fan of revenge stories. The only revenge story I've ever really enjoyed was the faceless old woman who secretly lives in your home. And, I mean, they just did it so well. But this one, this revenge story, out of nowhere? So it starts as a murder mystery. In the middle, we're told it's a revenge story. And then it's like the author really didn't know what book he was trying to write. Maybe he wanted to write a few. Maybe he just made it very complex. All right, I did a line. It's a crappy line, but it's a line. And it's actually on my face instead of in my eyeball, so oops. The whole Anna thing really didn't make sense to me. I mean, yeah, why would a good guy go to jail for no reason? Well, the platform did a good job of that, so I don't know why it had to involve some sort of revenge story, some sort of let's make Anna a really horrible person. Like, but why? Okay, so there's three people at Blackheath. Our main character, Anna, and the villain who is inhabiting Daniel's body. The villain who inhabits Daniel's body is also supposed to be as bad as Anna. We get no information about him. He is not as mean or cruel or evil as they make Anna out to be. And, like, I really just didn't get that part. I mean, maybe to show that people can change, but then why doesn't Daniel Coolidge change? Why is it only Anna? I didn't get it. I didn't get a lot of the pacing because it seemed like we were supposed to be ending for a very long time and we just weren't. Thick eyeliner in my eye. Oh yes, we are just turning into a raccoon. It's lovely. We have something on our face now. So there were like little clues as well that they were leaving throughout the story, like the chess pieces and the notes and all those little details of how things came to be. And in the beginning it was cool to see all of those things. It was cool to see all of those things come together, but the more that happened, the more it was just boring and took away from the rest of the story. Like, when I knew a certain piece was going to be left in a certain place, I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait because I know he's going to do it. I know that, you know, the only reason we're going into a specific bedroom is to leave a specific piece. It's not going to be another important part of the story. And it wasn't. A lot of the pieces of him leaving the chess piece or leaving a note for himself or doing any of that was for nothing. It really was for nothing. And I really just couldn't, like, I don't know why we needed all of those bits of the story. So I'm gonna work with Mercury and Cluster here. I don't know if you can see them. And I'll probably put some fractal. But I don't want to spend 2.5 pages understanding why a silver compass got from one man's pocket to another man's pocket. I don't care. I just don't care how that happened, why it happened. Honestly, it's a little ridiculous following a compass, especially when that compass, it's not like it was a symbol, it's not like it meant something. A lot of it felt somewhat pointless, and it was very frustrating to read. And then at the end, the final reveal that Evelyn Hardcastle, as we knew her, is not Evelyn Hardcastle. In fact, she's just some woman that the real Evelyn Hardcastle met in, I believe it was France. And it turns out that the real Evelyn Hardcastle is evil. She's evil. She killed her younger brother when they were kids. She killed a stable boy. And she was going to kill her friend and claim it was her. And her family was in on it. Like, that, I really didn't get it. Her family knew that she killed the youngest son, or the oldest son. The family knew that she killed the oldest son. And then they were going to force her to marry the fat guy. But instead she brought someone to take her place. And the family was okay with it? Like, I thought they were punishing her. I thought they didn't like her. Where is the motive? I am confused. Because then Evelyn shows up and is like, I'm gonna kill you all. Like, but why? Because you don't... Your family was gonna let you go. Like, why did you have to kill the person who was gonna take your place? Like, those things just really never added up to me. By that point, at that time, at the final reveal, the big one where I'm really supposed to, like, I couldn't care less. I just couldn't care less at that point. I didn't care. I was unsurprised. I was unsurprised, but surprised. Like, I had no inkling that that was gonna happen because he wouldn't give me enough clues about it. I wasn't shocked. I didn't care. I just didn't care. I wanted the story to be over. I wanted to understand Blackheath. I wanted to get the world. But no, it even ends before they even leave Blackheath. It just ends. I don't know how they got in or out of Blackheath. I don't know what it looks like in their outside world, in the dystopia that I'm much more interested in. I have no clue. So it ends with our good guys winning, just like they're supposed to. And Aiden, who is our main character, I remembered his name. His name is Aiden. Our main character is allowed to leave, and so is Anna, because halfway through the book, it changed from saving Evelyn into saving Anna from the prison. So in he keeps reliving these days, right? Our main character, he'll live his 8 lives, and then it'll start back over again, and he'll start at the beginning. So after he had done that the previous time, he killed Anna because he remembered she was as vicious as she was and wanted revenge, whatever. And so it really feels like Aiden was able to get his revenge and then be like, yeah, now I'm okay. I got to kill you, so now I'm okay. Who's the good guy in this story? Like, it's not Aiden, and Anna's kind throughout the whole thing, and we're only told that she's, you know, evil. But Aiden actually does stuff in Blackheath that's, like, evil. You know? So, I was not a fan. I'm glad I actually read it, because now I don't have to wonder, oh, Mackenzie, why didn't we read that book? It looks so good. Now we're just missing out. You're not. If you don't read this book, you're not missing out. Lackluster, at best, that book. I love a good murder mystery, and I love to be the detective, and that premise was really, really amazing. It really was. The idea that you are going to kind of Groundhog's Day this woman's murder until you can figure out what happened, and not even to mention the fact that it's set in a dystopian world where villains have to, instead of going to prison, solve other people's murders. Like, that's cool. That's a cool premise. Write a whole frickin' series about that. But you wrote a 450-page book about one person's death that just was way too long and just too much. Premise is great. The book was not. Even just talking about it again, thinking about it again, I just can't put those things together. And it's been a while since I read it. I gave myself some time to really think about it and marinate in it and really feel like, okay, I think I have a handle on the concept. But I really don't. It was a murder mystery that halfway through turned into a revenge plot that after a little bit just kind of turned into a white knight. Like, I didn't like our main character. I didn't like the story that was told. I liked the premise, and I think that there are better stories around that, because it was really just like a surface level story. A 450-page surface level story with a not good mystery. So, that sucked. However, like I said, I'm glad I read it. I'm really glad I read it. Now I don't have to read it anymore. I don't have to worry about missing out or anything like that. And I got to have this little conversation with you guys. So if you read it, let me know down in the comments. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did I miss that you understood? Are you on the same page as me? Let me know. I definitely want to continue this conversation down in the comments, because I don't know if I'll ever be able to shut up about this book either. So I hope you have a great, this is Friday, I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Bye!